invasion from Morocco to Spain. How come the border patrols are not armed? Everything reeks of the government of Spain knowing about this. Hello. Welcome to Knives of Words. And today we'll be talking about the immigration issues in Spain, in South Africa, and we'll actually have a deep dive into the situation on this video this time around. And stick around, there's a lot to share. July 31st, the news broke that there's a form of invasion from Morocco to Spain, and it feels bizarre. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, I want you to watch this video. Okay.
Than we thought. Spanish officials now estimate that nearly 50,000 migrants crossed into the city of Ceuta from Morocco in the last 24 hours alone. That's a nearly 60% increase of the city's 83,000 population in less than a day. At least 18 people have died with bodies found in the water. The Spanish military is being deployed. Authorities on the ground say that the border is now totally collapsed. So why the hell is this all happening now? Well, firstly, if you look at the map, the Spanish city in question is actually on the African continent. So these migrants haven't swam all the way across the Strait of Gibraltar. But interestingly, entering by swimming is kind of important, because earlier this month, Spain's Supreme Court ruled that immediate deportations can only be applied to migrants who cross by land, like climbing over a physical border fence, meaning migrants intercepted while swimming cannot be removed without due process, legal representation, and the ability to claim asylum. Now, is that what has caused this latest surge? Well, it's disputed. Officials believe it could be one influencing factor, but not the sole reason, because also many yesterday crossed by land as well. But what happens now to these 49,000 people? Well, Spain say that they intend to deport as many people as quickly as possible, despite the Supreme Court's ruling. But other countries seem to believe that the damage may have already been done. France announced an increase in security at their border with Spain, while Italy is threatening to suspend Spain from EU's internal open border policy. But as we know more, I'll keep you guys updated.
There you go, guys. Let me start this way. Okay. The whole immigration thing became a center of attraction when President Trump got into office. One of the first battles he fought, or one of the first executive orders he signed into law, was to deport people who are illegal immigrants in America. And it became a center of topic where it was now a situation of liberal and conservatives. Liberal being of the opinion that immigrants are just here to work, they are not hurting anybody, they're just here to take care of themselves, and it actually helps the economy. Which aspiring presidential candidate Kamala Harris actually buttressed on during a campaign. So it became a center of, it became topical, all right? So there's the left opinion, leftists, and the right people's opinion. And it diverted people into picking a side, if they are for immigrants to stay illegally in the country or against. And of course, we know the leftists have majority of the media platform, and so they were able to amplify their voices. All right, so let's take, so there's the situation of the American immigrant ICE, videos coming out, deporting people from America, and still going on right now. Ireland is marching. They have protesters marching against foreigners in their land. South Africa has done that. and so many more. Okay, so in Spain now, the reason why this seems bizarre to me is because people are now tagging it on social media as a form of invasion, which I believe to be so, because just like the video showed, not much people will deport en masse at once to a country in a very visible way. Okay, I know people travel to Spain through the waters in the past, but they have to hide themselves even in containers or shipments. Okay, not like this. And I have questions. My number one question is, how come the border patrols are not armed? They just are not armed for some reason. Two, how come there are no naval presence at the border of Spain? Okay. And why this amount at the same time at once? And everything reeks of the government of Spain knowing about this and allowing this. And why would they allow this in the country? Usually, I think what will readily come to mind is they want cheap labor. Okay, so when you want cheap labor in a country, these people cannot fight. They can't have any labor congress. Okay, if they're going to come to that country to work, they are going to take menial jobs, and they are going to be maltreated, mistreated by companies, factories that employ them to work, and they can be fired at will. They can, be cheated from what they earn or what they are to earn. So a lot of things can happen to them because they are not legally there in the country. They cannot go and report their case to the police. They cannot go and, they cannot charge anyone to court because they are not legally in the country. Okay, so they are being at a disadvantage while they improve the economy of that country. But another situation that happens behind the curtain is human trafficking. Okay, so these people are allowed into the country because certain people within that country, within the system, is making it big with human trafficking, sexual trafficking. Okay, so people might innocently say, oh, the border has been opened for us by Spain, and we're going to work, we're going to have the dream of our life's dream met, not knowing they're really actually working to their end, walking into unknown situations, harsh situations that they never bargained for or thought about. And while this was going on, I was already hearing through the social media platforms saying that some people are already saying, oh, if they want a house, if they want this is how it happens. This is how the grooming thing happens. Okay, so you have to beware. If you're going from Morocco to Spain and you're thinking, oh, the border was open and everything was okay for you, you have to watch out for things. It's happening across the world. Okay, albeit not in such a large mass. All right, but this happens. Okay, so human trafficking is a big factor in all of this. Some are of the opinion that this might be an Islamic move too, because most Moroccans are Muslims. Okay, so some are of the opinion that this might be an Islamic move to take over Spain because I think some years ago Spain had to fight the Islamic movement against its country. Okay, so they are thinking this might be another form of takeover of the Islamic State's terrorists in Spain. And Spain has to be aware of this because this literally happened to Iran and the problem Iranian citizens are having till date. Okay, Iranian country. Iran was not an Islamic state from the very beginning when it was Persian. Okay, so Spain has to beware, of Islamic movement. But it is obvious the country knows about this. It's weird, and weird things are happening all around the world right now. Okay, and so when it comes to the leftist and the right angle on things, I think people are not paying attention. Excuse me. They're not paying attention to the effect. Okay, they're not paying attention to the effect of immigration. Okay, when you migrate from your country as an immigrant, when you migrate from your country to another country, one thing that should be on your mind, or one thing you should be conscious about, is that you are going to improve another country's economy against your economy. And usually, because this happens with immigrants moving from so-called third world countries into, Western countries, it makes the third world countries, stagnant. All right, this is a way to actually continue to decapacitate the third world countries. Okay, so when migrants move to the Western world, you decapacitate your own country, your own economic, uh, uh, how will I put it, strength, lack of a better word. Okay, so you are taken away from your country. I understand people look for greener pastures. I understand these third world countries can be very hard, but it is better for you as a migrant to go through the legal route. Okay, countries have policies. There's a reason why there are policies put in place for the number of people that can come into their country at a given time. Okay, if there are no need for balances, if good countries, the Western world, if their countries' borders are open, nobody wants to be in the third world country. Do you understand? Nobody wants to stay there. Nobody wants to reside there. So, and that will create a form of imbalance. Before you know, the third world countries will cease to exist. All right. And there's a need for balance, when it even comes to geographical implications of things. Okay, there's an amount of population that a particular geographical location can take. Okay, 500, or let me say 1 billion people might not be able to contain a particular space, let's say in Europe. And allowing or invading those places, you are opening yourself, even as an immigrant, you're opening yourself to danger, earthquakes, anything. All right, so when you contribute to a form of imbalance to another country, know that it's a two-way street. All right, so if you go through the legal means, at least it means the country is telling you that we can accommodate you, and whatever comes after you in terms of maybe you now start having a family and everything. Okay, It means they are telling you they can accommodate you. If a country has not legally allowed you into, through its borders, then that country, number one, is taking a risk for not, being tight on security or its immigration policies. And you, on the other hand, as an immigrant, you're opening yourself up to danger, and nothing can save you when you are in a strange land. Whatever comes at you, you take it as it is. So you have to be aware and be conscious as an immigrant and know exactly what you're doing, what you're walking into. Okay? So preferably, I don't agree with, I am not standing with illegal immigration. I don't like it. I believe everyone should have a sense of integrity and doing things the right way. Okay? And I also believe imbalance can cause a lot of things in the world. All right? So, but if you will go through the legal means, maybe out of desperation or whatnot, then have someone at the other end, at that country you're going to, that can help you navigate how to live there. Okay? And I'm not talking about you going to a stranger. I'm talking about probably you have a family member there, a friend there that you trust, that you know. Not a friend's friend though. Someone you trust and you know. And then you go there and then you can navigate life. If at all you must. But it is not fair, it is not right to the country you're coming from and to the country you're going to. And you know what? It is also not fair on you. So it is a lose-lose situation across the board. All right. So I just felt I had to say that. Okay. So that's it. I feel the economy feels it too. So we've mentioned that. So when it comes to this issue of immigration, we also have South Africa here on the continent protesting. They've protested for I don't even know how long now to send foreigners who are illegal immigrants in the land back, deporting them back to their countries. Even after these people have opened businesses and whatnot and whatnot. And the problem I'm having with the South African case is the government being two-faced about it. If you are against it, if you're against illegal immigrants having businesses or being in your country, then agree with your protesters. Those marching, protesting in the country, agree with them. Stand with them. Create policies, formulate policies that helps your people if you no longer want immigrants in your country, how to improve your economy. And if you want immigrants in your country, create policies that benefit legal immigrants. Okay? And create policies that favor your own people, citizens, alongside immigrants in the country. So this whole idea of shutting up in your country about what the protesters are doing, and then you going to Ghana, coming to Nigeria, to talk with the government. I really don't know what you want to talk, what you want to say. All right. So I came across this on Twitter. Okay. So I came across this on Twitter. So the South African president sent delegates to Nigeria, and this is what they had to say. Okay, so let me show you. This is what they had to say. Said the envoy condemns xenophobia and racism, but added racism, please. But added that Ramaphosa has also been very firm on South Africa's sovereign right to enforce immigration laws, including to deal decisively with irregular migration, undocumented immigrants, acts of criminality. Okay, no problem. But the thing is, it's probably time for you to sit with your protesters. All right? Formulate a policy. Take over the situation at all. The nuisance is too much on social media. Okay? The protesters to me are just like my neighbor's chihuahua. Like, nobody is afraid of your voice. Shut up. They need to just shut up. They are creating nuisance with their own protest at this point. Let the government hold the reins of the situation. Sit them down. Okay, we've heard you. You don't want illegal immigrants in the country, or you don't want immigrants at all. Okay, we don't want immigrants at all, or we don't want illegal immigrants in the country. You don't want illegal immigrants in the country? Fine. These are the policies the government intends to work with. We need you to stop the protests and assaults on immigrants in the country. Let us take over the process, decide who is illegal in the country, who is not illegal in the country. How can we help the youth of this country to be included in the economic benefits? Okay, the immigrants, because I ran into one. I've been able to actually come across the clip again. I didn't save it. Where I was saying, we can make these people come back and start working for us. So, and one of the leaders of the protest. So the idea really, what I took from that is they really are not interested in working or being part, contributing to their own economy. They want these immigrants to work heavily taxed while they live off the welfare of their government. I think so. So if that is the situation that they want, then the ball is in the government's court. Are you ready to take over the responsibility and the well-being of your citizens, the youth of your country that, in quote, wants to be useless? Okay? Do you want to agree with that? One, are you ready to pay their bills? Okay? And whoever is going to South Africa as an immigrant will know that they are being heavily taxed. It's happening in UK, so it's not like a big deal. So let them know they are going to be heavily taxed to be in your country. Okay? So you can take care of your citizens. But the problem I am seeing here right now is that the government is not ready to actually take on that responsibility. And at the same time, they don't want to stand because of the foreign policies they have with other countries. They don't want to stand and say they are against illegal immigration in the country. But according to the delegates that came to Nigeria, saying the president already has a stand against illegal immigration, just sit down with your protesters. What can Nigeria do about the situation on ground apart from receive their deported citizens? What can Ghana do for you? What are you roaming around the continent for? To do what? For what? Oh, you want business to continue as usual with those countries? No. You're going to have a loose end of the bargain too. Okay? So, the loss is either going to be shared or a win will be shared. All right? So, that is my view about the whole South African protest. Okay, so their government should just take a stand already. It's getting boring. It's getting boring. All right. So now that we've finished on immigration issues so far, as updates comes, of course, we will continue to treat them on the channel. Let's go to the editor's note and see what we have on the other hand there. So on the editor's note today, we'll be going back in time to 2019, that year, December. I think I was in church for a crossover, and then it was coming. There's a deadly virus in the world, and it has to be checked. Came from China, Wuhan, and by January it blew up in everybody's faces, and it was now a threat. Traveling is becoming a threat. Um, Visiting families, going to other countries becoming a problem. Going to work becoming a problem. Eating out becoming a problem. Having any contact with any human being is becoming a problem. And this whole fear, this sensation, was being sold by one man. Fauci became a director of the NIAID, okay, and his role on the White House Coronavirus Task Force. All right, so this was the guy that sold the sensations concerning the COVID-19. So recently, his diary was found. I don't even know why you would do something like that and have a diary. Well, maybe for future reference or revelations. Okay, so his diary was found, and there were a lot of contradictions to the things he said to the public and the things that were found in his diary in terms of the numbers of people affected in a region, how face mask or nose mask does not prevent anything. And it was telling people that in front of the camera that face mask was important. So the pharmaceutical companies benefited hugely from COVID-19. So did he and everybody that backed the COVID-19 becoming a viral infection and a viral thing. All right. And the sales of vaccine, was off the roof. Okay, so in recent times, there's an ongoing legal fallout. Okay, so Fauci was pardoned against any crime that could come up against him during the Trump administration, though he has not been charged of any crime and he has not been tried for any crime or sentenced. But President Joe Biden pardoned him against if any crime is going to be charged against him. Now, that tells us everything we need to know, that it was already a criminal act. He was involved in some crimes committed against humanity, not just the United States. Okay, so he was pardoned in 2025 when President Joe Biden was leaving office. Okay, so ready from here. This was what happened. So the President Joe Biden pardoned him. Okay, so he said that the pardon covers any potential federal offenses Fauci may have committed or taken part in between January 1, 2014, when he became, NIAID, whatever, 2014, and January 19, 2025. So when it became, a White House official or something, director. Arising from his service as director of the NIH and his roles on the White House coronavirus task force. Because presidential pardons cannot apply to future conduct, Fauci is not protected from potential crimes committed after January 2025. This includes any potential perjury or contempt of Congress charges stemming from subsequent testimonies. All right? Okay. So, the ongoing legal fallout. This pardon becomes a flashpoint during a Senate Homeland Security Committee hearing, where Fauci invoked his Fifth Amendment right over 100 times. I'm going to play a clip. Okay. Committee Chairman Rand Paul has argued that the federal pardon strips Fauci of his right against self-incrimination. Remember the diary I talked about? So the pardon strips Fauci of his right against self-incrimination, okay, for those past events, leading to a planned committee vote on whether to hold Fauci in contempt of Congress. All right, so line before. Additionally, state-level prosecutors, such as the Florida Attorney General, are launching independent investigations as presidential pardons only appeal to federal crimes and offer no immunity against state-level prosecution. Okay, so they are trying to find loopholes in law in the United States to charge Fauci with criminal conduct. All right, so let me play you this clip.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc? Let's try something. What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color is the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel,
Look at
I
his smirk on his
respectfully
face.
decline
Did you
to
smile?
answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is.
So it's crazy. Okay. He played the fifth 100 times because he has immunity. And there's nothing the Senate can do to him right now. But that diary coming out, self-incrimination can be a stand against him, but his immunity, his pardon is quite a strong one. So the other part of it is that on the state level, which the immunity does not cover, it can be charged on the state level. Now, the reason why I feel that might be hard is because his position was not occupied on the state level. So what then is there for the United States of America to do? I don't think much, apart from two things. One, to publicly humiliate him. But the most important one is, I believe, because the midterm voting is coming up in the United States right now, it is a play, a card the Republicans are playing to converge votes for the midterm. Okay, so this was an happening by the Democrats. Okay, so they want to make it obvious, they want to make it public for the people to see the crimes that were committed under the Democratic administration, and then have more people on their own side. Okay, so I think that's the card being played. It's just a political card. When it comes to charging Fauci, I don't see a lot of success with that, but who knows? Who knows? You know, with the self-incrimination thing, I think that is big. If they can find a way around it, I think that is big. All right. Uh, but with the immunity, you know, being, I almost said immunization. With the immunity being strong, I think it would be a fight to go on on you know, by the Senate. I think it would be a huge fight to go on. And the state level thing, I think it's already dead on arrival, really, because it didn't occupy any state position, you know, to speak with. But what do I know? I don't know the American law. So thank you very much for sticking with me all through this video. And the reason why I'm sounding like a carousel here. The reason why this channel exists, okay, is to keep Nigerians, Africans abreast of happenings around the world, okay, especially geopolitical happenings, so you can be aware and be conscious of the global happenings to you and how it affects you and how it benefits you and how you can properly position yourself for what is to come, what is happening, and take advantage or run away. All right. So on that note, please do like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.